Welcome into Studio A of our CHGO offices here in the West Loop of Chicago. I'm your host, Sean Anderson of CHGO White Sox Podcast. Welcome in. I don't even know what to say anymore. They're 25 games under 500.
Ugh.
I missed you.
I mean, I could just play the music really loud for an hour.
Yeah, do it.
Okay, yeah. Oh, we're in the jams now.
Just like we'll just be struggling like for 50 minutes.
I can't hear the music at all.
Oh, but I got you. It's good.
Welcome.
Okay, we're back low. Okay. We got to talk now.
Welcome in. That's Lawrence Benedetto.
Hi.
He's producing us. I'm Sean Anderson. You can follow me on X at Sean_W_Anderson. You can follow the show at CHGO_White Sox. That's Herb Lawrence.
Hello.
You can follow him on Twitter. Nope. At Ecknerwall23. I'm just
Twitter,
I don't,
X, whatever.
I don't need
Just
to
call
say
it Twitter. Who cares?
Just follow. I don't know.
You know where to follow us.
Do I even need to say it anymore?
No. And I don't know.
That's Herb Lawrence.
Occasionally we get a Cub fan or two, and I've been looking at the Twitter machine, and they're like, well, thanks White Sox for nothing.
Right.
As a White Sox fan, if you have to depend on the White Sox to make you happy, you're going to have a very hurtful life. So Cub fans, take care of your own goddamn business. If you didn't get smoked up there in Toronto, maybe you would be closer to the Brewers. Hey, now you got the White Sox on your schedule, Tuesday and Wednesday. Sweep them. They're an easy team. If you don't sweep them, it's your own fault. Do your own damn work.
They've won a decent amount of games. I would like to be in the Cubs position.
I know, me too, but, you know, when Cub fans in my ear about White Sox, like, we're White Sox fans. Who do you think's more disappointed or just, we knew this was going to happen this weekend? Come on now.
I don't
do your own damn work.
I know that Cody runs the CHGO Cubs Twitter account, and I'm not trying to start any beef with anybody.
We're starting. It's Tuesday and Wednesday. That's our World Series.
I find it very funny, and we were about to fight Lawrence before the show about beef.
Yeah,
What's going on here? So you like Johnny's?
Yeah, of course I like Johnny's. It's delicious. It's the best beef in Chicagoland.
Is Elmwood Park in Chicagoland?
It's
Chicagoland. It's in not
Chicago.
You hear what I said there? I said Chicagoland.
And then Herb likes a beef from Wisconsin?
No,
Correct.
It's in Chain of Lakes. It's wherever that city is. I don't know the city that our people came in. I forgot what they're called. Bargers beef. Delicious. What they brought in for Adam Hogue and the boys at the CHGO Bears. Tried one. I was like, man, it's the best beef I've ever tried.
But it's not Johnny's.
Yeah.
It's not Johnny's.
I had the beef. It was very kind of them to bring it down. I'm not trying to bash anybody. It's very good. I would pay,
good money if I was on a boat.
$5 to $10 to $12, especially if I'm on a boat. $15 for that beef. Who cares? Money is nothing. That's not true. Anyways, but that's kind of a bad take. I mean, Al's is better. Portillo's is better.
No.
Pops is better. All the chains are better than Bargers.
Is Al's a sponsor? No.
Not yet.
Al's is dry.
I don't
Their
like
beef
their
is
wet.
very dry. No, even if you get it dipped, their meat is very dry. At least the one right by Wrigleyville. My God, I never, ever order from that place because I've done it twice. Beef is too dry.
Here's the deal. If you get Al's over on Taylor, my issue with it is the beef I think is delicious. It's the giardiniera. They put too many red pepper flakes. To me, giardiniera isn't about red pepper flakes, and that's all I get out of there.
It's just natural heat from the ingredients you put in there.
I like the texture of an Al's beef. It is kind of clumpy, which I know is kind of an odd and probably unpleasing way to describe it. But it's if you've eaten a lot of beefs, it's very a unique texture. I like it. I don't know. Hey, I'm not. Again, it was very kind of those people to bring in beefs. And again, if I'm on the lake, hey, let's go.
Because I'm more than likely never going up there because I don't have a boat and I'm not going to be swimming in that lake. So
you're basically just giving it like the title as best beef, and then you'll just never
have it again.
They were one for one.
Elusive chasing. Like, this is way off topic. I know you guys came in here and people are listening
for
White Sox stuff. But you know what? If you're here, this is better than White Sox talk. But when I was a kid, there was a place called Godfather's Pizza in the Chicagoland area. I didn't see Godfather's Pizza again until I went to college at Western Illinois. In my mind, Godfather's Pizza was the best pizza of all time because I had it that one time as a child and it was bussin'. And then when I tried it in college, it's like, man, it's average as hell.
Oh, it was terrible. There was one in Iowa City, not good at all.
Yeah, I was like, why the hell was I loving this so much? I'm not saying Bargers is like that, but I want that feeling to have that. I want that feeling for me forever. It's like, man, that one day I had at the CHGO studios, top notch, and I don't want to ruin that moment ever again. Because if I go there again, if it's not as good or it's lower than Johnny's or Portillo's or all the places around, I'll be like, oh man, I got to question everything now.
You'll probably honestly get it, and then you'll just drop it in the lake. Like, I'll just totally like Charlie Brown, then you'll probably stumble into the lake yourself, like do a flip.
Unlike Shady Rays, they're not going to give you an extra
they're not.
Barberger's beef.
No.
Sunglasses are over there. Anyways, and Alec is saying beef talk over White Sox talk. We appreciate that. Thank you so much,
Thanks, Alec.
Now we can talk about beef loaves. It's beef talk is better than that regular White Sox talk too. I think he's probably the top 108 guy.
Wow.
Yeah. Like
Jesus.
him, then like Chirizi's right there, then MSS. They're lined up right next to each other. Not too far of a separation, but for my money, beef is the best.
All right. There's your 108 rankings. You sure you want to put that out there? This is live. We can't go back.
The guys know who I am.
All right. Yeah, they know who you are. Now they know how you think about them.
Yeah.
They know where to find you.
I'm not saying any of them are terrible. They're all great in their own right.
I don't know, man. MSS, he scared me that one time. I was there, and he threatened me, and it was very scary. I'm not gonna talk. He's my favorite. He's very tall and very big. He's like he wouldn't be. You know how we saw Andy Vaughn be just clouded and shrouded by Aaron Judge.
Yeah.
I think MSS maybe would be able to like touch his chin. You know, Aaron Judge's chin. Like I feel like he's what 6'4", 6'3".
Yeah. Wide. He's a Illini fan too, so I should like him a little bit more than I ranked him. But he's good. He's great. But I think
he's
beef
good.
Beef does just all the things.
But if just to go back to the Cubs thing, you know, like you're ready to fight.
Too.
He does have very nice hair. And I think for some reason I've always been. We had Chirizi on the podcast.
We did.
We talked about favorite basis. I didn't have an answer then. Mark Sandman of. Yeah,
oh,
there you go. Morphine, yeah.
Oh, my God.
He's playing 2 strings. There you go.
Shout out. Whoa, that's a throwback for me.
Very good. I'm a big fan.
I met him at the Empty Bottle. And
did?
They were not playing a show that night.
Wow.
So he was just at the bar by himself, just ordering a drink, and I was like, that's Mark Sandman. And so I got to go up and have a nice little chat with him. It was one of my all-time favorite moments. It was, I believe, 1995, because it was Horde Fest, and I had seen Horde Fest in Milwaukee the night before, and Horde Fest was at Tinley Park that Sunday.
The World?
The World,
Amen.
the New World, the Old World, whatever
Tweeter
world
Center.
it was. And there was a huge lightning storm in Tinley Park, and so I was asking him about the show, and he was telling me how it was kind of scary, and the power went out, and blah, 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 whatever, but yeah, it was very cool. I just got to have a nice chat with Mark Sandman. Rest in peace. Love that guy.
Very cool. All right. Well, I'm going to ask you about that after the show.
Great.
So we could just go into the Cubs thing. So the Sox got swept by the Brewers. We're going to be joined by Vinnie Duber, our CHGO White Sox beat writer, from the ballpark in a few seconds. You can follow him on X at Vinnie Duber. I just noticed something before I get into the Cubs thing. We're going on a lot of tangents. There might not be some White Sox talk until Vinnie is able to put us on the tracks. We did not call each other Herb. We're both wearing MLB team hats with A's on them.
Yes.
And I just realized that. I'm wearing the old Diamondbacks one. You're
Neither
wearing
of
the
it is
Braves
the
one.
A's.
Neither of them are the Athletics.
Yeah, I got the Braves hat from when I went there last September, and you got the Diamondbacks hat because it nicely matches your shirt too.
Well, I picked the shirt out because of the hat, because they wore these on Saturday, the throwback 90s hat, and Mercy. I mean, those are just beautiful.
They are beautiful.
Why is that? And Zach Gallen even tweeted, why is that not the their permanent jersey?
Arizona teams seem to change their uniforms every 5 seconds. The Suns can't depend on anything. Whatever the Coyote are, they keep on changing their damn uniforms. Yeah, so even probably the Mercury changes it every 5 seconds. But yeah, those are the golden era of Arizona Diamondbacks uniforms. I love those. The Luis Gonzalez as they were.
Yes, I would say maybe Randy Johnson. But
he's all right.
He's all right.
Byung-Hun Kim.
The Byung-Hun Kim. The Tony Womacs.
Yes.
Ooh,
Yes. The Royce Claytons. All right.
Mark Grace?
Mark Grace. All right. Let's go to the Cubs real quick. So the Sox got swept by the Brewers. All the Cubs fans are like, yada, yada, yada. And I find it very funny that, and again, Cody's running the CHGO Cubs account, but they're tweeting on Friday during the 6th inning when Aaron Bummer is facing William Contreras with the bases loaded, and Contreras hits one kind of in front of Bummer and in front of Moncada, and Bummer flips it home and over the catcher. And
it was
goes
an
away,
amazing White Sox play.
It was a
Very
classic
standard,
White Sox play. And Cody tweeted, guys, ... come on, man, at CHGO _White Sox. And I find it very funny. And I haven't talked about this on the show. and I haven't seen an apology. And our guy Brendan, who's live right now, who is is from here, right? Oh no, he's in San Diego. That's right.
Yeah.
I tweeted about 2 weeks after the game, and this is good for Crosstown, about Tim Anderson sliding into Nico Horner.
Yeah.
And this is when the whole, I'm bringing this up literally 8 days after the fact. He tweeted this during the Jose Ramirez and Tim Anderson thing, saying basically, oh, well, Tim's always starting stuff at second base, basically, and look at this awful slide. Just gotta say, I was at the game, Herb was at the game, Cody's at the game.
Yep.
Cody's a very passionate fan. And he didn't blink an eye. He didn't say anything.
Oh.
The crowd didn't react at all.
Not 1 second.
So I find it just very odd that someone's walking back and bringing this up. So you do want us to help you and beat the Brewers, but also you're calling out our players for being dirty a week later. So I don't usually care for the Cubs White Sox things, but apparently our coworkers do. Luke does. Brendan apparently does.
I mean, they always say
Greg Braggs does.
White Sox fans care more about the Cubs than the Cubs care about the White Sox. And there's some morsel of truth there because we're the the stepson or the whatever. Go ahead.
Cody loves to call me little brother. Loves to, not me personally, but loves to call the Sox little brother.
Yeah.
I do not think of the Cubs.
No, I actually cheer for the Cubs. Only times I don't is when we play them. But yes, I saw that and I was like, I had other fish to fry, so I didn't reply to Brendan. But yeah, it was out of context bitching about something that didn't matter. And it didn't raise anybody's ire. I'm sure Nico didn't even give a goddamn.
Well, here's the thing about Brendan. He's a Nico stan to the nth degree.
Oh.
And Nico.
Californian?
So he
Both
he
Californians,
must have saved that and he's always very worried about Nico's health.
Yeah, we actually, funny enough, all employees have access to every Slack channel. You just have to go and look at it.
Yeah.
And I saw the live comments. I saw what he said live about TA, and I didn't get a fan.
What did he say? He's been like saving it or something.
I don't think he called them a nice word. I'll say that. Not anything like bad, but I think he basically just said FTA or something to the lines. And I don't care for that, because if you're gonna be protective of your guy and come after our guy, I get our guy has been pretty bad this year, but I have a lot of great memories with Tim Anderson. Mm-hmm. Maybe he got them all knocked out on 2 Saturdays ago, and I would hate to see it because we haven't seen a lot of Tim Anderson. But I mean, I'd love to see Tim Anderson bounce back because, man, they did a lot of talking last year that Nico Horner's the best shortstop in town, and now they got a counter. Like I have a counter for Conforto and Benintendi about Chicago shortstops and Dansby Swanson's home run counter and Tim Anderson's home run counter. It feels like they care a little bit more than we do. I don't care at all.
This is the first time we've promptedly brought up the Cubs when we're not actually playing the Cubs today. But yeah.
Well, they're coming up too.
And they're coming up. But
and we just played a team that is above them in the NL Central.
And so you Cub fans, usually I would be like, hey, the White Sox are bad. In the first series, we were kind of apathetic. We wanted the Cubs to win because it would push the White Sox further into the abyss that they are currently in. But now, take those 2 games and give our cup back. If we win the 2 games, we get the cup, we'll spike that shit right on Wrigley Field and say, now what? Enjoy your non-playoffs, Michael Stroman. Enjoy your non-playoffs, all the rest of you Cubs, Nico Horner. And I hope you'll be the best shortstop in Chicago. Dansby Swanson, you'll be at the crib with Tim Anderson, watching the playoffs like the rest of us.
Well, you bring up a good point, though, with that series, because literally, second game ends, we're on the bus going back from our crosstown event, the first one, and Lucas Giolito's traded. And, it's literally that night we get comments from Rick about it. So, no, I mean, that absolutely set all that stuff in motion. I mean, I don't particularly, again, care for the rivalry. They can win the next 2 games. Just make it quick. I didn't need Aaron Bummer giving up a home run to Carlos Santana today. No. I didn't need Declan Cronin hitting 1 million people and giving up 5 runs. Put us out of our misery as fast as
and that fake rally in the 9th.
Yeah, oh my God, Zach Remillard swinging bunt. Mercy.
Apropos.
Absolutely.
Him just getting bunts even when he's not trying.
We do have 34 people watching, and we got 16 likes. We do appreciate it, even though there hasn't been a ton of White Sox recap yet. We're going to take a quick break, and I think Vinnie Duber is just around the bend. He's usually fairly quick joining us. So I got a feeling once I finish this ad read, I'm going to call it.
All right.
that Vinny's going to join us. All right. We got to let you know about Herb's favorite place, Hooters. It's your spot to catch all the games this season, and CHGO Crosstown Classic coverage is presented by Hooters. Hooters is your spot to catch all the games this season. Step up to our plate for world-famous wings, delicious seafood, stack sandwich, salads, and more. And they have tons of great beer specials and $6 drinks all day, every day, and their seafood special, $19.83 or $19.83 for a pound of crab legs, and great prices on buffalo and steamed shrimp. I don't know how to read, which is really difficult for this job.
Also, technically, isn't this show 5? Just going to throw that out there.
What's that?
Isn't this show 5?
Yeah.
It is. I'm going to finish this Hooters read, and then I'll tell you about Goose Island. Hooters is celebrating 40 years in business all year long. In honor of the anniversary on the 4th of every month, Hooters will be hosting throwback events, bringing the 80s back with 83-cent wings and other great specials. Next one's on September 4th. My bad. Herb, what you drinking?
Delicious Goose Island 312.
You want to give us a honk there? No.
And I went over
I'm
there
embarrassed.
the other day, Thursday after the show. Went over there to the Fulton Market or Fulton
Street?
Fulton Wood Street Brewery.
To their tap room on Fulton Street in Westtown?
Oh, delicious.
Amazing.
They have so
What'd
much.
you have?
I had they have a special tequila beer. Ooh. I forgot what it's called. It was on my phone, but it was so good. 6%, but it was nice. I can look up my pictures. I took a picture of it, but everybody needs to go over there. If you live, work over in the Westtown area, West Loop, where we are right now, it's just a short drive over there. Always tables outside, tables inside. They have some bar food available and all the good beer selection that they have. Yeah, you see it right there? It's like the tequila drink that I had.
Paloma de Sol Tequila Saison.
Oh, delicious.
And I believe the Sophie, which is on draft here, is also a Saison. So, some lovely saisons over there at the Goose Island Tap Room in Fulton. You just got Herb's recommendation. So grab an ultra-fresh brewery-exclusive beer at Goose Island's original brew house on Clybourne Avenue in Lincoln Park, or from their tap room on Fulton Street in Westtown. Goose Island Beer Company, Chicago's beer. They've been Chicago's beer since 1988, and our next event is on August 16th. I'm not sure. There might be still tickets left for the CHGO Crosstown event.
I think there might be a couple, but it's at the
going fast.
at the wrong side of town. But
yeah, you get hey,
whatever side of town.
Chicago's beautiful, folks. They got 77, right? Amazing neighborhoods.
77 neighborhoods, yeah.
Yep.
But CHGO Crosstown Series Takeover, next one, August 16th at 7:05. The pregame festivities will be at Almost Home, so make sure you're buying your tickets soon before they sell out, because, again, limited quantities are left over at allchgo.com. You get a shirt, you get tickets to the game, and you get to hang out with us before the game as well.
I'm going to be very obnoxious that day because I don't have to drive home because it's right down the street from me, and because I want the Cubs to lose. Please, if you don't want me to be mad or be obnoxious on Wednesday, don't let the White Sox win on Tuesday. Oh, my God.
Don't let us get hot.
Oh, don't let the White Sox get hot.
Don't let them.
I'll be talking all the smack if the White Sox win both those series.
Because
all the smack. And if they lose, I'll shrink and take my L's like a true champion that I am.
They're going to get hot because of Elvis Andrus. That bat's ready. It's steaming. He's about to, remember when Slugfest, when those guys just started
and
going
I know
on fire?
Vinny wants to talk some about that, but yeah, it's beyond idiotic that he's still on the team right now. Same thing with
I got another read.
Grandal. All right, sorry.
We'll get into it.
Ugh.
We'll get into it in just a second.
Irritated.
Me too. You've seen my Twitter name. I'm bitter. You're irritated and I'm bitter. Where'd you get that hat?
I got this hat from Atlanta.
And how'd you get your tickets?
I got my tickets from the folks at Game Time.
Boom. Were you stressed?
I was not stressed at all.
Well, were you stressed before you knew about Game Time? Before you were like, oh man, I'm going to Atlanta. I gotta buy tickets. And then, like a vending machine in the desert, like an oasis, there's Game Time.
It was there for me, and it hooked me up. And I know you're going to talk about the 110% guarantee that they provide. And I did find a place on a different ticket site that had cheaper, more inexpensive tickets than Game Time. Sent them an email. 12 minutes later, got the difference back, 110% of the difference back in my Game Time account.
The Game Time guarantee, which Herb is talking about, means you'll always get the best prices. If you find tickets in the same section in a row for less, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. 12 minutes it took Herb to get his 110% of the difference, and you get images of your seat before you buy, so you know what to expect when you arrive. And yes, it is beautiful and historic Wrigley Field. It's so historic that they still have post that could block and obstruct your way. So it's perfect that you can get images of your seat before you buy, so you know what to expect when you arrive. And if you want to go to the game on Tuesday, how much are those tickets there?
It's a very nice $69 for
$69
couple seats in 429.
In section 429. Download the Game Time app today, create an account, and use code use code CHGO for $20 off your first purchase. So that's $69 purchase comes $49. So there you go. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHGO for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. I thought Vinny would be joining us by now. So
it's probably a fired up Pedro Grifol.
I lost my bet.
After the game, he's like, I'm pissed off of 25 games under 500.
Today is the day that he is going to bring his notebook in, and he's going to just give them all the notes. Like, this is my State of the Union address, and he's currently in minute 13 of 45. Mm-hmm. So Vinny might join us today.
Turning over tables, turning over the buffet table, yelling at people, pissed. Taking a golf club to the cooler in there, man. Pedro's pissed right now, and Vinny's got to cover it all. Once he's done covering that, he'll tell us exactly what the words that Pedro said.
Yes, all profanity-laced rants that Pedro's probably going on.
Oh,
right
culture,
now.
Guys. So we're trying to get culture. Culture, but culture. You guys understand culture? That's what we're culturing. Culture,
professional culture. Herb. Did you witness this professional culture on display this weekend?
I did not. They.
Oh well, I mean, were you at the game?
I was at. Oh yes, I was. Yes, I witnessed, but I did not see any great culture. But I saw some culture. And yesterday, I went to go and celebrate Slush Poppy's birthday. He had a tailgate.
His birthday.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Slush
He
Poppy.
invited me out, and it's like, hey, I would love it if you're here. If you're not, all good. And then so I was like, you know what, Slush Poppy's been one of our loyalist supporters from day one. Great guy. And I was like, there's nothing I'm doing on Saturday. Courtney wasn't doing anything. I was like, let's go and check out the tailgate and wish him a happy birthday, drink a couple, and then go home. Because I had another birthday to attend. Happy birthday, Jeffy. Which I did eventually. But Courtney said, I want to go and check out the game. So she went on Game Time. Slush Poppy can be a witness of that. And got some tickets. We sat in 143, something like that. Saw a quick game. And then the White Sox disappointed, of course, because they gave up the booty later in the game.
They gave up what?
The booty.
Oh, boy. God bless them.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I wasn't exactly on time, but I was close. I thought it was maybe what, like 2 minutes? two blinks of a lamb's eye or something like that.
Yeah.
Away from being spot on when Vinny is joining us. Welcome in Vinnie Duber, our CHGO White Sox beat writer. You can follow him on X at Vinnie Duber. Hi, Vinny.
Guys, how are you?
Good. How are you? Oh, I guess
Doing just dandy.
I feel like I asked you. I feel like I asked you that question twice. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Before we get to the White Sox stuff, how was the Salt Shed, and how was the great Nathaniel Ratliff in his night sweats?
The band was fantastic. The venue was fantastic. I'm sure plenty of folks have been there already, so I'm telling them something they already know. But it was great. That spot right by the river there is beautiful. They've really done it up really nice there. They've got the nice food selection, the nice beer selection, and then of course seems like nothing but people you want to see, on a weekly basis. So can't say enough good things about the Salt Shed. It was a great show. My wife is not very tall, so we wanted to make sure we got there early so she wouldn't have to stand behind too many folks that would be in her way. And it really paid it off. We were only behind like 2 people, so we were like basically right up front for the show.
Oh,
so
wow.
It was awesome.
Yeah. Law, have you salt shedded anyone?
I was at the Salt Shed once, and it was only because of the Connor Bedard draft party for the Blackhawks. So I was kind of working there technically.
All right.
Haven't been to a show there.
Nice.
Can't wait. Oh yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah.
Haven't gone. Yeah. Well, there we go. We haven't really talked about the White Sox today.
Oh, okay.
I mean, you saw the game. It was there was.
I did.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
It was right there, right in front of me.
Yeah. Is it hard to see out of the southpaw suit? I'm sorry. I just don't want to talk about this game. Let's not talk about this game. Let's talk a little bit about the guy who didn't play today, or the 2 guys that didn't play today. I think the probably shorter conversation is Luis Robert Jr. Is there an update on the finger?
Yeah, it's feeling better. I think the one thing they're waiting for is when he follows through with his swing. It's still bugging him a little bit. Other than that, it seems fine. He can grip the bat without a problem. He was available to run on Friday. He was available to play the field yesterday, if all of that, if needed, obviously. And then, but he was not available to hit because of the follow through of the swing. So they are hopeful, to use Pedro Grifol's word, that he will be back in the lineup on Tuesday when they start that 2-game series with the Cubs.
And so, Tim Anderson. I am confused, and I know this is not for you necessarily, but I'm just going to, speak my mind. Tim Anderson got the suspension last week, 6 games. He chose to appeal it. On Monday, he sat out for reasons because he was still kind of injured, I guess. And then today, he sat out for a rest day because Pedro wanted him to get right. And you wrote about it in your article to us, or just wrote about it to us. How I think that Tim should have sat out initially, get the suspension over. If he would have sat out that Monday, and then through today, he would have been ready for the Cubs series. I just don't know why the choice was to allow him to keep on playing when the season doesn't matter anymore. Just get the 6 games over with so they're done, and then you can play after that, or if you need to. Because I think Tim both needs rest for his mind and his embarrassment that he had suffered the week before on that Saturday with getting hit and knocked out by Jose Ramirez, and then also the injuries he suffered. So I'm just baffled why, he hasn't been sitting out for his own good and for the White Sox own good.
Well, I'll address a few of those things. I think number one, he appealed the suspension, which means that he believes that the suspension was not fair. And so why would you just say, oh, well, I'm not hitting real well, or I don't feel great, so I might as well just serve it anyway, if you don't think it was fair, right? He's using the process that is in place to try to get what he views as an unfair suspension changed to something that is more just in his eyes, I guess. So there's that. The delay in this is process related. The White Sox say they haven't heard back. You know what I mean? Like, we knew he was appealing that suspension the moment that it was announced. And so why has Major League Baseball taken as long as they have to inform the White Sox? That is, from what we're hearing from the White Sox, that's the question to ask. Why has this taken so long? So they're operating as it's just like, we'll hear it when we hear it kind of thing. And so that's really all they can do. The time that Tim Anderson has, I guess you can use the word missed, but the 2 games that you alluded to that he sat out in that time, he didn't sit out because of choice. You know what I mean? Like, he wasn't like, oh, well, I can look ahead in the calendar and see that these games are not going to happen for me, so why don't I just take this suspension this time? Like you mentioned it the first time, like he just wasn't, they didn't want to physically have him go. And then today it was a rest day, but since he was really good in July, and since August started, he has not been good. And, Pedro's talking about some mechanical problems that he's having, some practice that he needs to get done, work in the cage that he is doing and needs to get done. Maybe Pedro looks at that work and sees the off day tomorrow and says, well, we'll give you 2 days to what you just said, get right. I mean, I think it all goes back to the same conversations we have when it comes to these, IL decisions that get made. They'd rather give Tim Anderson a day off today and have another day off tomorrow and have him only miss 2 days back to back, and then get him for X number of days after that in their lineup. So I think that's the thinking there. But again, I think that the appeal of the suspension and how that's going to affect Tim's availability and the other stuff are independent of each other. And when you say, why doesn't he take the suspension, just get it out of the way? Well, he doesn't think he has to get it. He doesn't think he should be doing that much of it at all. Right. And so he's using the process that it is presented to him, and we'll see what happens. Again, it's weird that it hasn't come down quick, in my opinion, but, especially because they seem to make a decision on Jose Ramirez yesterday. Again, I don't know. Who knows? Maybe they're not having the same conversations over both those 2 guys or something like that. But if you make the suspension decision a week ago, get the guys on the phone, get the appeal done, and let's get this going. Because I mean, heck, the Cleveland Guardians are technically in a playoff race, right? I mean, they're trying to extend their season and win games, and this is their best player. The White Sox, you can say, oh yeah, they're in a lost season, but as you've heard from Pedro Grifol, they're trying to win games too, and so they want their guys available to them. You shouldn't be kind of letting teams dangle like this and let their and let their best players sit out when they're trying to win and trying to impact their season. That being said, we're hearing this from one side. We're hearing the White Sox say this. We're not talking to Major League Baseball about this, so I'll throw that qualifier in there.
Yeah, and just to add some history too on why maybe it is taking so long, I can't find anything on Ramirez having any prior suspensions, so that could probably be into it. Like, oh well, it's the past history. Ramirez likely hasn't done much. He apologized as well. Let's give him one reduced game. That seems pretty easy. We've brought up though TA being suspended before. Obviously, he received the 1-game suspension in 2019 after the stick tuck incident. But not because of throwing the bat, but because of what he said to Brad Keller. And then in 2022, he was suspended for a game for flipping off fans in Cleveland after a 2-error inning, and then that was reduced to a fine. And then later, he was suspended for 3 games, later reduced to 2 for making contact with an ump during an argument over balls and strikes. So I'm not sure if it's that. And also, like 6 games, I felt like was pretty intense. Because again, Ramirez throws the first punch. So I do wonder if it is just more lengthy because the White Sox are probably like, well, why is he even getting 6? It probably should be 3, or something like that. Because again, like he is a quote unquote repeat offender. Yep. But I mean, he's been suspended twice, and one of them was for a word. So is it because of the Gabriel Arias thing that the Cleveland Guardians were talking about, of saying that Tim Anderson was, screaming at Arias the entire game? Like, it is odd, and I'm just trying to add, like, all of the layers that could be leading to the appeal taking so long. But it is odd that, that, like, they haven't heard back at all.
Yeah, and it's like, remember, it was the umps who stopped him from talking to Gabriel Arias. And remember, Tim has a history with the umps. He bumped into one during a fight in Detroit, and he bumped into another one in an argument over balls and strikes that you said last year. And so he has a history with the umps, and I'm sure they're not, giving him a favorable call to the commissioner's office, whoever does the disciplinary stuff, saying, yeah, this man has already bumped into 2 umps, and now he's, causing fights. So 6 games might seem, that's probably what went into the 6 games over the 3 that Jose Ramirez got, which got reduced to 2. But yeah, I don't find it very, equitable that Ramirez already got his suspension, knows how many games he's serving, and is serving it. And Tim is still hanging out there with no answers. It should be the same time. They both appealed. They both should have the same answers at about the same time.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe the Sox will hear soon. There is an off day tomorrow, so maybe that will give them time to talk to parties and sort that out, and maybe we'll hear about the appeal today. There was some comments, though, from Pedro, and then we'll take a break, about TA. Just talking about how TA was, after the All-Star break, was pretty on fire. 11 games after the All-Star break, had a batting average around 378. Now the 13 games since, 208 batting average, and really seems just out of sync. Pedro talked about that and saying he got a little consistent there for a while, and speaking to him, the timing's a little off right now. The mechanics are a little off. It's obviously been a little extended past the Cleveland situation, but he hasn't spoke since the incident with Ramirez. We know that this has been a very troubling time for, or kind of a tough season for TA with off-field stuff that he's talked about, and then injuries. What has his demeanor been in the clubhouse? Because he's been in the clubhouse. Is he just kind of normal? I mean, he's just quiet, so I'm assuming he's just kind of putting his head down and just doing his work, quote unquote, right?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say it's dramatically different than the way he acted last year. I think that he's obviously the guy who was leading this whole everybody have fun, this team with the swagger, this team with the attitude that everybody recognized in 2020 and 2021. He was the guy who was driving that, and he had a bunch of other players on his team that were participating in that, right, on a nightly basis. You could see it. You're watching the game every night. And then when last year came along and the losing happened, they were badly underachieving, and then he got hurt, and that affected his production. Those two things going together made him very, I don't want to say very different, but different. He's always been a quiet guy in the clubhouse and everything like that, but made him noticeably different than he was when things were going well. Obviously, you mentioned the off-the-field stuff, which he has talked about, and I'm sure that has had effects. How could it not? And then this year, you get more of not just more of the same, but worse. We've talked so much about how last year it seemed everything went wrong, and they finished 500, and here they are after today, 25 games worse than that. They keep saying no one has fun when you lose, and certainly he has been kind of an embodiment of that. In that, that. We've heard from Rick Hahn say that swagger has disappeared. Where did it go? Where was that attitude from years ago? Where is that attitude with TA, right? And I just ran down a bunch of reasons why it would disappear, and I think that you've seen that. Certainly, he gets injured in the first handful of games of the season, and he was not the same for months. And the numbers, you can look it up on Baseball Reference or look up at the scoreboard when they're playing a home game, and you see it. You see what that injury did to his ability to do his job. And so when the team is not doing well, and when the individual is not doing well, this tends to happen a lot. This is not unique to Tim Anderson. We've seen this with a lot of players on this team over the last 2 years. It just so happens that he was the guy who was the face of the fun and the swagger that everybody really liked about this team and that was so noticeable about this team. And now he has also been the face of the disappointment and the lack of production on a, player by player basis that has happened on this team. This is what happens when you're the face of the franchise, which he is, and he has been for several years now. But yeah, it's noticeable. I wouldn't say, that he's, turned into a vastly different person. I wouldn't say that he has been, some of the stuff that people have either guessed about or tried to report about. I wouldn't say that he has looked like that in any way, but he obviously is not having the same amount of fun that he was when things were going well, I think for pretty obvious reasons.
Anything else? You good?
I mean, yeah, but I'll save it for after the break if you want.
You should. I mean,
Okay.
if it's on Tim, just add it on, and then we'll
No,
take it
not
back
on
out.
Tim. It was about something totally different that I wanted to talk to Vinny about. But so I don't want to break up this
All right.
good commercial break because it's totally different. It's a total left turn instead of a right turn here.
All right. Well, then let's break off the TA discussion, and maybe we'll have more to talk about our off day show tomorrow. I believe we're set for 5:30, so make sure you set your calendars and join us then for some off day talk. We will be talking about Vinny's article that should be posting post game or maybe tomorrow morning. So make sure you're checking out all CHGO to check that out. We want to let you know about our friends over at AG1s. Shout out to our friends, and the number one most important thing about our next partner is AG1s, the daily foundational nutritional supplement that supports whole body health. We have been drinking it for over about a year and a half now.
March 2020.
Yeah, they were one of the first sponsors that joined with us, and now I got neighbors ordering it. Packages showing up, but it's not even mine. So there you go. We gave AG1 a try because they gave a try on us, but truly, it has been a nice way to wake up each and every morning. It's better than cracking a pop in the morning. A better way to get actual vitamins into my system. I want a better gut health because, again, drinking a soda at 10:30 make your stomach feel pretty sick. Mm-hmm. It's a boost in energy as well, and it supports my immune system. And who likes taking pills and vitamins? It's very easy to take AG1s. All you got to do is add your scoop. And then you mix it into your water, and then you drink it up. It tastes tropical, fruity, and delicious. And our friends over at AG1s are trying to replace your multivitamin probiotic in one more simple, drinkable habit. It's a comprehensive solution to what you need from your supplemental routines. Then try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase. Go to drinkag1.com and insert code CHGO Sox. That's drinkag1.com and insert code CHGO Sox. Check it out. Actually, no, drinkag1.com/CHGO Sox. It says enter the code, but I don't know how to read, as we learned earlier, and I read the Hooters ad. But drinkag1.com/CHGO Sox. See, you should have cut me off, Herb, because I don't know how to read, and these poor folks have to listen to me read.
You miss Wednesdays and Thursdays show. Somebody on that show doesn't know how to read, too. I'm not going to say his name.
Is that you?
Yeah. I look at him in the mirror too every day. Yeah, folks.
That lovely Southpaw bobblehead was donated by our friends over at FOCO. Our set pieces that have been donated by them. The lovely Southpaw one, as I mentioned. We got the Tim one, I think, in Studio B, but it's got a really cool
it's over there in Studio B.
red line feature. So go check out their abundant amount of bobbleheads. If you have a nice collection, get fitted with the best sports gear around. They got bobbleheads, signs, shoes, hoodies, everything in between. It's baseball season. They got aloha shirts, straw hats, polos, bags, everything you need for a game. So check out foco.com. That's FOCO.com, or click the description below for all non-presale items. Use the promo code CHGO for 10% off, or click the link in the description below. I want to say clink. Which would
Clink the lick.
Clink the lick. Finally, want to let you know about our very fun event going on the 25th. We have the CHGO Kickoff Classic coming up at Cog Hill. Yes, the Cog Hill. August 25th, 9 a.m. When you buy a ticket, you get 18 holes with a cart. There'll be an exclusive CHGO and Pins and Aces golf towel for all players, and they have hole contests coming up. There'll be some giveaways and prizes as well, and there'll be a lunch, drinks, and ceremony after the round. And you get a diehard discount too, so if you are a diehard, head over to allchgo.com. Tickets are selling out, and we just want to make sure too, before August 25th, you get your teams in about, 12 days away. Going to be 11 days in just mere hours. So make sure, again, you head over to allchgo.com, use your diehard discount if you have one. If you don't, why not sign up today? Premium written content for members at allchgo.com. You get a free shirt when you become a member. You get access to our members-only Discord, the CHGO Lounge, and again, 20% off to our fun events like the Crosstown Classic and the CHGO Kickoff Classic at Cog Hill. So make sure you join us on the 25th if you're a golfy,
Yeah.
golfist. I'm not sure. Where'd Vinny go?
I just let him hang out. He didn't have to sit there and stare at us while you're doing
Vinny
the
probably
stupid
started
ad.
jamming out and listening to better tunes
He's right there.
instead of listening to me do ad reads. Anyways, something I want to talk about. You tweeted about this. Oh, well, actually, why don't you
It's
take
literally-
let's take your left turn.
It's literally what you wanted to tweet about,
What?
or what you wanted to talk about. But we don't talk about this last week when Pedro Grifol talked to the Symbol Media, yourself, Vinny included, about why is Elvis Andrus getting all this run, all this tick. Truth be told, he's hitting all right, and he's fielding awesomely. But for a team that's 25 games below 500, I wonder, most White Sox fans wonder, why is Elvis Andrus, firstly, still on this team, secondly, playing a lot?
I mean, it's a worthy question. I kind of asked it of Pedro last week. Obviously we were in the middle of talking about a whole lot of different things about what the last several weeks of this season are going to look like. And, I do want to give the guy the benefit of the doubt that there were a lot of different angles covered under that same umbrella topic in which he was talking about the importance of young guys getting playing time here at the end of the year and the White Sox seeing what they have in some of these players, but where he also talked about how much he wants to win games over the course of the last several weeks, and he's not going to try to do anything that would impede that team from doing that, even if it might be beneficial moving forward for next season. In the case of Elvis Andrus, I asked, hey, is second base a position at which you can get some playing time for some younger players, while a guy like Elvis, a veteran, might not be so helpful moving forward? And the answer that he gave made it seem like by younger players, he thought I meant exclusively Zach Remillard, because he said, don't worry, Zach Remillard's still going to get a lot of playing time. He was asked later in that same press conference about Lenyn Sosa and then whether he would be up here at some point. And he said to that question that then, or he said today, but at that point, that was about a week ago, said, that wasn't the time to discuss that, which I hear September call up, right? That's what it sounds like to me. But when talking about Elvis Andrus, he said that Elvis is playing, this is Pedro's words, very good baseball right now, and that he's helping them win, that he's going to continue to get playing time, and that he thinks that that's the best lineup he can put out there is one that has Elvis Andrus in it. So obviously that did not make a lot of people happy, as my Twitter mentions indicated. So you don't need to necessarily fill me in on what the opposite argument is there. I've seen it in 280 characters over and over and over again since. But I think the point being that he was very inconsistent with his comments that day on all those topics, as Herb, I, and Jared talked about, and I think that given the chance to kind of break that down bit by bit, it sounds a little bit better, but at the same time, still contrasting statements coming from him earlier this week, and I think that I can understand. Certainly, I understand why that rankled people the way that it did.
Just to mimic your Twitter mentions, can you scream in Pedro Grifol's face, please? Thank you. I'm kidding. I obviously don't do that. That'd be dumb.
No, I won't be. But like I said, I didn't react because I have. You didn't just mimic it. I'm sure you are just reading from several of the tweets that were sent my way. So.
I am reading a tweet, and it is your tweet, and it's just the quote from Pedro Grifol saying, "We're never going to compromise a major league win for development," and then they get swept. And it's like, who's we're? Like, what is this credo? Who is this? Like, I mean, I don't know if he, like, I didn't see the full comment, so obviously I need to, maybe he flushed that out a little bit more, but, like, we're never going to compromise. Like, what are we compromising?
I don't know.
Like, you're 25 games under 500. I guess before he made this comment, they're like 22 or 23 games under 500, but it's just, I don't, it doesn't make sense to me, but again,
well,
we can't control it.
I also want to make this clear, and I think, Herb, I did say this the other night, but it's like, we know that they're done. We know that the season's not over and everything like that, but, like, these guys do want to win. Like, these guys, even if the fan base has switched to taking a longer term view, which they absolutely should, because this team's not making the playoffs, right? And even if us who are observing and writing about that are like, all right, what is these last 7 weeks going to mean for 2024? Because they can't mean anything else for 2023, right? We all know this, and we all act that way. But, like, this is their job. They are supposed to win. They're competitive guys, and certainly Pedro is one of those people who talks that way. You heard me talk all the last 2 years about Tony La Russa, about how he'd walk in there after a loss and he'd be in such a terrible mood. These guys live and breathe this, and it's their job and it's their life, and they want to win. I just want to throw that out there. It doesn't change anything. It's not me arguing against you having that whatever opinion you want to have. But when you hear that from somebody and you think that it might sound a little ridiculous, remember that they do think that they want to win, and they are doing that. It doesn't jibe with what we think the direction of the team should be, or what we know the direction of the team is going forward, maybe. But I think they can have both things be true to them at the same time, where, okay, I'm Pedro Grifol. I know what way this team is going. I can read a standings board. I know that what we're doing as a team. Hell, he's come out and said so many times that how important the remaining time is for 2024, right? But at the same time, he wants to win a baseball game. And I think that both those things can be true for him at the same time.
I guess the one thing you can jump right in and piggyback on. It's just like, does Lenyn Sosa or Corey Lee or whomever not want to also win? Like, I don't know. It's just like Elvis Andrus has had his time. He's had his run. Like, I don't think he serves a purpose for the White Sox. And I mean, he's not even helping them win because he's been bad. Also, shout out though, he had the most pitches seen to lead off a White Sox game since 2017, mimicking the legend of Leury Garcia. So it's been about 6 years since a White Sox player has seen 11 pitches in the first at-bat of a game. So shout out to Elvis Andrus doing that today. What do you want to add on, though? But basically just like, again, like I don't think that Lenyn Sosa or whomever also doesn't want to win. Like, I feel like, they're 25 games under 500. I think fresh blood would be welcomed at this point.
Yeah, that's what this year should be all young players. I never want to see Gavin Sheets in right field again. I know by choice sometimes they have to because of people injured, etc. But I want White Sox managers to stop taking wins and losses just so differently. Oh, I'm so happy when we win. Oh, I'm so sad when we lose. It's a game. Just take it as it comes. Like, being mad after a game, to me, seems weird. Because you had nothing really to do with it as a manager. Like, that's the managers don't matter thing. Come in when you're in between the 9 innings that you're playing. The times where you do matter is in the clubhouse and how you react to a win or loss. And that, I think, also reflects on your team. It's like, if you're going to have that negative energy after a loss, it's like, man, it's just contagious. I just don't like taking these losses so tough like Tony did and maybe Pedro does, because it's not helping you. It's not helping you turn those results around. So how about just say, hey, sometimes you're going to lose. As Hawk said, you're going to win 60, you're going to lose 60.
Amen.
What you do with the other 42? Mercy.
I'll say one more thing about Elvis specifically, and again, this is not something that's been said by anybody, so this is me effectively guessing, making an educated guess. But we heard so much at and after the trade deadline, at and since the trade deadline, about what that clubhouse is like. And we heard that they made moves at the trade deadline to address what was going on in the clubhouse. It is very possible, based on what the White Sox said about Elvis Andrus after they got him last year and when they brought him back at the beginning of this year, that Elvis is a very positive presence in that clubhouse. It is possible that Elvis is part or embodies, has some of the characteristics of what they want to see in their team moving forward. He's a leader in that clubhouse in terms of being a veteran who can relate to the Spanish-speaking players, you know what I mean? And he's always with them and stuff like that. He's not necessarily, I'm not going to go as far to say that he's, the new Jose Abreu or anything like that, but he is a guy who has those relationships, and he has long been described as a very positive presence there. Perhaps perhaps the White Sox are getting benefits from him being here over the last 2 months that don't show up on that stat sheet. And again, that's just an educated guess. It's me saying, yeah, maybe that's the case. Another thing is fans are quick when they're frustrated. And again, it's fine. This is what they do. But the answer is always DFA player X, DFA player Y. That doesn't happen very often. People aren't just getting DFA'd willy-nilly because they're not, because they're not as good as you thought they were going to be. Again, there are times when it is done. There is times when it should be done, and we've seen the White Sox not be afraid to do it, multiple times over the last couple of years. But it's not necessarily so easy as just like, all right, that guy's not hitting well right now, get rid of him, DFA him. I mean, like that. That's a much more serious move, especially with a veteran player, than it might seem for folks in terms of that being an easy answer. I don't think it's really ever an easy answer to make that move. So again, these are just things I'm throwing out there to add to this conversation. At the end of the day, I think you guys are mostly right. This season is over. This season is lost from a competition standpoint. The time is much better served helping themselves for 2024, a year where they could perhaps have a shot at contending and putting together a contending roster. They're going to be able to learn a lot about that or something about that over the next 7 weeks.
And again, make sure you're checking out allchgo.com because Vinny's going to have an article soon to tell you what to watch out for in the remaining year, and especially looking forward to 2024. So new Vinny article dropping soon. If you want to go bam, 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 like with the air horn, Lawrence, or not. You can't find it. Okay.
Wow. Wow. Law does not think a new
I guess not.
The air horn. Okay. All right.
And Joey's the one making graphics for you.
All right. Hold on. Where is it?
No,
Let's get to it. No, here we go.
Yeah, let's go.
Congratulations.
That was a begrudging air horn. I'm not sure.
I wanted it. I was supportive of it. Law doesn't usually produce us, so he's kind of. Steven would have done it without blinking an eye.
I'm checking out, honestly.
Law's
I'm ready
dealing
to go.
with the Bears and the positivity there, and the Blackhawks positivity there. Then he comes over here and he gets depressed like us. White Sox fans.
It's very upsetting working on this beat.
Oh, good. We're going to try this offseason to be ultra positive. Not about the team necessarily, but to cover White Sox stuff. Yeah. So because it can't just continue to say how bad they are, because it's draining on me. I'm sure you listening is draining on you. So we're going to try to turn it around to the glory days of 1993.
We tried to entertain you for the first 18 minutes, and then we started talking about the White Sox.
Talking about the White Sox.
Yeah, I love my job. But, as Kenneth says, misery loves company. I agree.
But Vinny did set me up there with the DFA. Diamondbacks designated Carson Kelly for assignment and basically closes the book on the Paul Goldschmidt trade, as the Diamondbacks have gotten rid of every single player they have received in the Paul Goldschmidt trade. So you now look at the top 10 prospects, because MLB Pipeline just put out a new top 30 for all of the teams around Major League Baseball, including the Chicago White Sox. It'd be nice that they did that. It'd be very sad if they left them out. Your top 10 now is Colson Montgomery, Noah Schultz, Edgar Caro, Jacob Gonzalez, Jake Eater rounding out the top 5, Nick Nastrini at 6, Brian Ramos at 7, Jose Rodriguez as 8, Kai Bush at 9, and Christian Mena at 10. Jonathan Cannon and Peyton Paulette from the 2022 draft are at 11 and 12. Grant Taylor from the 2023 draft from the second round is at 13. Seth Keener, who I believe was drafted in the 2023 draft as well, is at 14. Sean Burke of the 2022 or 1 draft? 21 is at 15. The prior mentioned Lenny Sosa at 16. George Wolkow, who apparently is Aaron Judge, at 17. Corey Lee at 18. Jordan Leisure, who they acquired from the Dodgers, at 20. And then that was it for at least mainly the players that they acquired at the deadline. But Corey Lee, someone that Pedro Grifol talked about today, what was the update from Pedro on the 18th race prospect in the White Sox organization, Corey Lee?
I mean, basically just said what he's been repeating, and with what Rick Hahn has said as well, which is, hey, we're going to see this guy here before the end of the season. And Pedro went as far to say very soon. So, they'd been waiting for him to kind of work his way back to normal following an oblique injury. He's had a little bit of time, obviously, now down there since he's been acquired down to AAA Charlotte. So I think the offensive numbers look okay. I think the catching, according to Pedro, looks good. And from a health standpoint, he looks good. So it seems like they're just kind of waiting for him to put the finishing touches on kind of getting back to normal and feeling good, both at the plate and behind it. And then you're probably going to see him at the major league level. So no specific timing, but very soon, pretty soon. That sounds imminent, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, and the last thing I got for you, Vinny, is Yoan Moncada. I mean, in the grand scheme, it doesn't matter, but he's starting to sting the ball a little bit. Yesterday with a rocket home run for his 4th of the year. Very sad that he's only got 4 home runs. And today, another rocket, I think, got caught. But Yoan Moncada looks like he's feeling a little bit more healthy, a little bit more comfortable at the plate from both sides of the plate.
Yeah, I believe he spoke last night, and if I'm correct, I believe he said that his back injury, which he's had obviously since spring training, kind of and missed so much time with, and the time that he wasn't sitting out recovering from injury, it kind of screwed with his mechanics at the plate a good deal, a significant amount, and he's kind of reworked things a little bit to get himself a little bit more comfortable, and you're probably seeing it pay off a little bit here. But again, that's the same story we've really been hearing with Yoan Moncada for a long time now, the impact of injuries on him when he is playing. You know what I mean? Obviously, he's had his time where he's missed time, but he's also had a lot of time where he's played through a whole lot of stuff. It's just been time that has not, gone without being impacted by his physical condition. And here we are with 7 weeks left in the regular season, and he's basically said that everything up until this point has been impacted by that back injury. So, it's the same old story with the White Sox core. They keep getting hurt. They keep being physically, hampered by injuries. And we're going into another offseason where probably the idea is going to be, can they bounce back? Can they stay healthy? We've seen it from one guy. Luis Robert Jr. has had an MVP-type season when not bugged by injury. And so I think you can see why there was still all that hope and optimism for these specific players within several years back, just because, hey, if they can stay healthy, look what they can do. They haven't been able to stay healthy, and certainly Yoan Moncada has fallen into that category as well.
And our friend Melissa in the chat is, make me sad. This is the 10th worst team in team history at the moment. Who had that on their bingo card? Anybody? 10th worst team in team history? 122 proud years of pride, tradition, and excellence. And here we are, the 10th worst season in White Sox history.
And it can get worse.
It can.
Hey, but it can get better.
Top. Hey,
how about that?
If you're going to be
at
bad,
positivity
be the
law.
worst.
You're either a Fred or you're a Law. Fred said the slow tumble to 100 losses continues, and you're saying it could get better.
Yeah,
so it's either...
Like, how they're putting on the shirt, the Summer of Mike Tauchman? Fred's slogan, the slow dredge to 100 losses.
The summer of 63 wins. I guess, hey, summer of 69. We talked about 69 earlier, Lawrence. Hopefully they get 69 wins, and we can make a summer of 69 t-shirt, and then we could be a little Bryan Adams.
Yes,
yes, with a Y.
Not Ryan.
But, let's be positive.
There we go. Check out Vinny's new article at allchgo.com. It should be posting soon. Follow him on X at Vinnie Duber. He's our CHGO White Sox beat writer. Follow Herb at Ecknerwall23. You can follow the show at CHGO_White Sox, and I'm Sean Anderson. You can follow me at Sean_W_Anderson. Thank you to everyone for hanging out with us. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button, and again, check out Vinny's article, and we'll be joining you with a off day show tomorrow at 5:30 p.m. We'll talk to you then. Bye.